Have you ever wondered why some people seem to easily turn their lives into a masterpiece through small daily actions, while you struggle with grand goals, only for everything to vanish like smoke in the wind? Imagine a gloomy morning. You wake up with the intention to conquer the world, running, learning a foreign language, writing, but then the phone rings, the seductive aroma of coffee spreads, and your plans slip away into nothingness. But if I tell you about an ancient secret reinterpreted through a modern lens, a way to turn tiny, almost invisible habits into immense power that can completely change the trajectory of your life, are you ready to listen? That is the journey we are about to embark on today, where atomic changes at the tiny nuclei of habits will explode into a personal revolution, making you look back and wonder, why didn't I start sooner? Imagine you are an astronaut piloting the spaceship of your own life, flying amid a vast sea of stars. Each day, you don't need massive, noisy, and costly rocket boosts to fly far. Instead, just small, subtle adjustments, atomic habits, to gradually shift your trajectory. A 1% deviation each day, at first glance insignificant, but over time, it can take you to completely different stars, planets that you once thought only existed in dreams. That is the power of habits, not grand goals hanging high like distant stars, but a system of daily repeated actions, accumulating like compound interest in a giant life bank. Are you wondering how to build that system solidly so it not only exists but thrives? We will explore right away, starting from understanding the deep essence of habits, like peeling off the shell to look into the beating heart core. Habits, like underground rivers flowing silently beneath the surface of daily life, shape everything that we often don't even realize. They are not just mechanical repeated actions, but the result of a subtle four-stage loop: cue, craving, response, and reward. Imagine you are sitting in front of the computer late at night, tired after a long day, and suddenly a notification from social media pops up with sparkling light. That's the cue, a wordless invitation. Your heart beats a little faster because of the craving for connection, the craving to know what's happening in the world out there. You click without thinking. That's the response, immediate action. And then, the feeling of satisfaction spreads when you see likes, comments, small praises, the reward, what makes your brain remember and want to repeat. This loop happens over and over, and before you know it, you've wasted hours scrolling uselessly, time slipping away like dust. But if we can hack this loop, turn it into a tool for higher goals, what then? That's the first key. Make habits obvious, like turning on the light in a dark room, illuminating every nook and cranny. Now, think about a guy named Dave, an ordinary office worker in a bustling city, who once struggled with skyrocketing weight due to a sedentary lifestyle. Every morning, Dave wakes up and sees his running shoes lying right on the floor. At the bedroom entrance, an obvious cue, impossible to ignore, reminding him to act immediately. It's not by chance. Dave arranged it deliberately, turning the surrounding environment into a silent companion. You see, most of us fail not because of lack of motivation or iron will, but because the environment doesn't support, even hinders. Imagine you want to read more to expand knowledge. Instead of hiding the book in a dusty wardrobe, place it right on your desk, open to the first page with a cute bookmark inviting. Suddenly, the cue becomes so obvious that it can't be ignored, and the action follows like a natural flow, smooth as a river to the sea. But how to make that cue not only obvious but also attractive, making you eager to dive in? That's when we move to the next aspect, where craving is ignited like a flame from a glowing ember. Craving, like a smoldering fire burning in every person's heart, is the real motivator that pushes us to act without force. Not every habit is attractive from the start. Running can be painful for unaccustomed muscles. Learning a foreign language can be boring with dry vocabulary. But if we pair them with attractive rewards, small joys in life, everything changes miraculously. Remember the story of a girl named Mia, a young marketing employee in New York, who hated going to the gym to the point of considering it torture but was passionate about upbeat pop music. Mia decided to only listen to her favorite playlist hits from Taylor Swift or Billie Eilish while on the treadmill at the gym. Gradually, her brain began to link exercise with the joy from music, turning the craving for music into motivation for running. Have you ever tried something similar? Maybe you want to eat healthier for robust health, Turn a bland salad into a lavish feast by adding favorite toppings like crunchy roasted walnuts, salty feta cheese, or homemade dressing from olive and fresh lemon. Or reward yourself with a fragrant herbal tea after each good meal, letting the satisfaction spread. That's how we cleverly trick the brain, turning good habits into something irresistible, like an addictive dish. But attractiveness alone isn't enough for long-term maintenance. We need to make habits easy, minimizing all barriers so the action flows smoothly like breathing. Imagine you're building a sandcastle on the beach. If you start with huge, heavy bricks, you'll exhaust yourself immediately and give up. Instead, start with small, fine grains of sand, and gradually they will stack up, creating a sturdy structure. The 2-minute rule is a perfect example, simple but powerful. Want to write a book to share your life story? Don't think about writing a long chapter. Just open the computer and write for 2 minutes, maybe just an opening sentence. Want to practice yoga for body flexibility? Just roll out the mat and stand in the first pose for 2 minutes, no more. Dave, the guy we mentioned, started his weight loss journey by just putting on workout clothes every morning. A small action, effortless. And gradually that action led to going out for a run, step by step. You see, the power lies in reducing friction, making the starting point so easy that it can't be refused, like sliding down a smooth slope. And then, when the action has taken place, we need rewards to reinforce so the brain remembers and wants to repeat. Rewards are like a sweet cake after a strict diet meal, making the whole process worthwhile. But not grand, distant rewards. Small, immediate ones are much more effective. After finishing a running session, reward yourself with a relaxing hot bath with lavender essential oil, or mark it on your habit tracker with a fun sticker. Mia, the music-loving girl, after each workout would journal about the sense of accomplishment. Short lines like, "Today I'm stronger," turning the reward into a meaningful personal ritual. But what if we reverse this entire process? To eliminate bad habits, those silent saboteurs, we make them invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying, like extinguishing a fire before it spreads. Imagine you want to quit late-night snacking, which makes weight skyrocket and sleep restless. First, make the cue invisible. Hide snacks in the highest cabinet in the kitchen, out of sight and reach, so you have to climb a ladder to get them. Make it unattractive. Every time you think about it, visualize the consequences, like the heavy, tired feeling the next morning, or the image of tight clothes. Make it difficult. Lock the fridge after 8 p.m. with a small lock, or tape it to remind. And make it unsatisfying. Replace with unsweetened tea or a fresh apple, things that don't provide instant pleasure like chocolate. That's how we break the bad loop, like cutting a sturdy chain link by link. Now, are you wondering how to apply all these principles to real life with more specific examples, vivid stories so you can visualize and apply immediately? We will dig deeper through personal journeys, failures, and victories, so you see that this is not empty theory, but practical tools. Continuing the exploration journey, think about an athlete named Michael, a young guy from rural England, who turned atomic habits into a secret weapon to win gold at the Olympics. Not through sudden intense training sessions that exhaust the body, but through arranging the environment so habits become naturally obvious. Michael placed his alarm clock right next to his running shoes, and every morning, when the bell rings, that cue pulls him out of bed like an irresistible magnetic force. You can do the same with your goals. Want to learn guitar to satisfy your passion for music? Place the guitar right at the living room entrance so every time you pass by, you can't help but touch it, strum the strings, and play a simple note. That's the power of environment design, turning living space into a loyal ally, not a silent enemy hindering every effort. But obviousness alone isn't enough to make a big difference. We need to ignite craving, turning habits into something you look forward to rather than reluctantly. Remember the temptation bundling technique? A clever trick like a psychological game. Combine the habit you need to do with the habit you want to do, creating a perfect match. Mia, whom we've met, not only listened to music while at the gym, she turned it into a private date with herself, where music is the reward for sweating effort. Similarly, if you want to read but are addicted to Netflix with engaging series, only watch shows after finishing a chapter, so your brain learns to anticipate that reward. Have you ever wondered why some people seem addicted to exercise to the point of never missing a day? It's because they've hacked dopamine, the pleasure hormone in the brain, to serve good habits, turning effort into natural joy, like a river flowing to the sea without dams. Now, let's talk about making habits easier, reducing all barriers so action becomes automatic. The 2-minute rule isn't just a tiny tip. It's the golden key to overcoming initial inertia, which makes most of us quit before starting. Dave started by just putting on running clothes every morning, a simple action taking no more than 30 seconds, and gradually those 2 minutes extended to 30 minutes of running, then an hour along the lush park. Apply it to yourself. Want to meditate to reduce stress in busy life? Don't aim for 20 minutes immediately, which might overwhelm you. Just sit still for 2 minutes, breathe deeply, focus on inhales and exhales. Gradually, you'll find yourself extending the time without effort, like a seed sprouting into a green tree. And to reduce friction further, prepare everything in advance. Pre-cut veggies for healthy meals the night before, download a language learning app and place a shortcut on your phone's home screen. So when the cue comes, action is just a touch away. Everything becomes smooth, like water flowing through smooth rock crevices, without obstacles. Reward is the final piece to root habits deeply into life, making it an indispensable part of yourself. After each good action, create immediate satisfaction, a small but meaningful reward. Michael, our athlete, after each training session would reward himself with a fresh smoothie from organic fruits, turning effort into sensory joy. But be careful with rewards. They must align with the identity you want to become, not contradict. If you want to be a healthy person, don't reward with sugary candies. Instead, reward with relaxation time with a health book or a self-massage. That's how to reinforce the loop, making habits part of personal identity, like a second skin that can't be shed. Shifting to the dark side of habits. Eliminating bad habits, the silent saboteurs gnawing at your potential. Imagine you are a talented detective, hunting down hidden cues in daily life. For excessive social media scrolling, make it invisible by removing the app from the phone's home screen, or set grayscale mode to make the screen dull and unattractive. Make it difficult. Use an auto-block app after certain work hours, like 9 p.m., and make it unsatisfying. Every time you scroll, note the wasted time in a notebook, so guilt overrides temporary pleasure. A friend of mine, named Lon, an elementary school teacher in Hanoi, quit smoking by replacing it with sugar-free gum, and gradually, the old craving faded like morning mist under the sun. But habits don't exist in a vacuum. They are deeply influenced by the tribe around, friends, family, colleagues. Think about the power of the social environment. If you're among energetic, positive people, good habits spread like a virus, infecting from one to another. Michael joined a local running club, where everyone cheers each other, turning the craving for running into shared motivation, a strong team spirit. What can you do to leverage this? Join online language learning groups on platforms like Duolingo or Reddit, or find a companion for weight loss goals, sharing progress weekly. And remember, identity is the strongest foundation. Don't say, I'm trying to run to lose weight. Say, I'm a runner, a person who loves running. That's changing from the root, turning habits into part of who you are, not something temporary. Continuing to dig deep into tracking habits to maintain long-term motivation, avoiding the hot at first then cooling off situation. Imagine you have a habit tracking notebook, a simple journal with a grid of squares, where each day you mark an X for completed habits, creating a long continuous chain. Dave did that with his running habit, and that chain of X's became strong motivation because no one wants to break a beautifully built chain. But if you miss a day due to illness or sudden work, don't let 2 consecutive days. That's the golden rule. Never miss twice. Recover immediately, like a warrior standing up after a fall, keeping the motivation from being completely extinguished. Once we've mastered the 4 basic laws, obvious, attractive, easy, satisfying, think about elevating them to a higher level, turning habits into the art of living. Imagine habits like a lush garden. You not only plant seeds but also water regularly, prune dry branches, and protect from pests. An advanced technique is inversion law. To avoid bad habits, make them so uncomfortable that they're unbearable, like attaching a slow exploding bomb. Lon, who quit smoking, pasted images of blackened lungs from cancer on the cigarette pack, turning the craving to smoke into extreme fear every time she sees it. Similarly, if you want to quit impulsive spending, remove credit cards from online shopping apps and set phone reminders about financial consequences like mounting debt. But what makes some people habit geniuses, seeming born for success? It's choosing habits that fit natural talents, leveraging existing strengths so rewards come faster, easier. Michael didn't just run for health. He had inherited genes for that sport, making muscles respond quickly, performance rewards coming early. Have you ever wondered what your hidden talent is? Experiment. Track activities that make you forget time passing, like drawing, cooking, or programming, and build habits around them. That's turning effort into natural joy, like fish swimming in water without trying. And don't forget the important role of the physical environment. Design living space to optimally support habits. Dave moved his desk out of the bedroom to avoid oversleeping and placed reading books next to the sofa instead of the TV remote. You can do the same. Create a focus zone in the house without phones or distractions, just a clean desk and bright light, or a relaxation corner with books, herbal tea, and a comfy chair. The environment is an invisible force, shaping behavior without needing iron will, like wind pushing a boat to sea. Now, let's talk about bigger challenges in the journey. When good habits are broken by unexpected events, like long vacations or work pressure. Imagine you're on a successful weight loss streak, but then a trip comes with tempting buffets and chaotic schedules. Everything derails. The secret is having a detailed backup plan. If I miss gym because of fatigue, I'll do short home workouts with bodyweight exercises. Mia did that while traveling Europe, replacing gym with walking to explore ancient cities, turning challenges into opportunities. That's flexibility, keeping the habit loop from being completely interrupted, like an elastic string that can bend but not break. Continuing, we explore the power of habit stacking, an advanced technique to create smooth flow in the day. Link multiple habits into a connected chain, where each action is a cue for the next. After waking up, drink a glass of filtered water. Then meditate for 5 minutes, then light running, then prepare a healthy breakfast. Dave started his day by making the bed neatly, and that chain led to a nutritious breakfast, then highly efficient work. You can build your own chain. After dinner, wash dishes, then read 10 pages, then journal emotions before sleep. That's turning an ordinary day into a harmonious symphony, where habits support each other. But habits aren't limited to individuals. They spread and influence relationships, work, and surrounding society. Think about a happy couple, where one builds a habit of active listening, turning daily conversations into deep emotional rewards. Result? Stronger relationship, better understanding. Similarly, in the work environment, weekly feedback habits with the team can turn a loose group into an efficient machine, where everyone progresses. You see, atomic habits spread like ripples on a lake, changing not only yourself but the world around, creating positive domino effects. And as we look back at this entire journey, it's like a fantastic adventure. From tiny invisible cues to meaningful grand rewards, from initial failures to sweet victories. But what if you fail if the habit chain breaks? Remember, failure isn't a tragic end. It's valuable data to analyze and improve. Ask yourself, was the cue obvious enough? Was the craving strong enough? Was the response easy? Was the reward satisfying? Adjust step by step and keep moving forward. Michael lost races many times in his career, but each time refined habits, learned from mistakes, leading to the shining gold medal. To help you visualize more clearly and apply deeply, let's detail about an entrepreneur named Alex, a startup founder in Silicon Valley, who applied atomic habits to build a tech empire from zero. Alex started by making it obvious, scheduling daily meetings in the calendar app with unavoidable pop-up reminders, then making it attractive, pairing meetings with a favorite specialty coffee from a local shop. Easy, only 15 minutes at first, focusing on key points. Reward. Note achievements after each session. Like, today the team solved a big problem. Gradually, that habit turned the company from a small garage to a giant, with millions of users. Do you see the similarity to your life? Maybe you want to write a blog to share knowledge. Start with 2 minutes of typing each day, choose favorite topics, and watch the miracle happen when the first post is published. Analyzing deeper. Why do small habits have such immense power? Because they leverage the principle of compound interest, a simple but powerful mathematical concept in life. A 1% improvement each day, like reading 1 more page, running 100 more meters. After a year, you're not just 365% better, but 37 times better thanks to the multiplying effect. Conversely, a 1% decline each day leads to nearly zero, a silent collapse. That's the math of life, not mystical magic, but persistent perseverance. Dave lost 20 kilograms not through a harsh diet lasting weeks, but by cutting 100 calories each day, accumulating over time like snow rolling into a large ball. Another example to illustrate. A teacher named Sophie, a dedicated educator at an elementary school in Paris, wanted to encourage students to read in the screen-dominated era. Sophie made it obvious by placing books everywhere in the classroom, from shelves to the teacher's desk. Attractive. Telling engaging stories about book content in class. Like, today we'll adventure with Harry Potter. Easy. Just read 5 minutes at the start of class, no force. Reward. Star stickers for each completing child, or free storytelling. Result? The class became a book-loving community, with kids voluntarily reading more at home. Apply to your family. Want kids to help with housework? Do the same, turn it into a game with rewards like game time, and watch the miraculous change. But beware of the common trap, goal syndrome, where you achieve the goal then stop, like losing weight then returning to binge eating. Instead, focus on the habit system, on the process, not the final result. Michael didn't just aim for Olympic medal. He loved the daily training process, the feeling of wind brushing his skin while running. That's long-term maintenance, turning habits into eternal lifestyle. Continuing with inversion technique to avoid bad habits. Make laziness costly by betting money with friends if you miss a workout. Lon did that, betting 100,000 dong each time she skipped quitting smoking, and the fear of losing money was stronger than nicotine craving. Or with spending, set a weekly budget and penalize yourself by transferring to savings if exceeded. And about talent. Not everyone is born to run marathons like Michael, but everyone has a fitting field. Experiment diversely. Try writing if you love words, cooking if passionate about cuisine, and build habits around that for natural rewards. Expanding further, think about application in mental health. Build a habit of journaling emotions every evening. Make it obvious by placing the notebook by the pillow, attractive by writing like storytelling, easy just 2 minutes, reward is a sense of relief. Dave used this to overcome mild depression, turning habit into natural medicine. Another story. Programmer guy Tom wanting to learn advanced code. Tom made it obvious with ID shortcut on desktop, attractive by pairing with tech podcast, easy code 2 minutes, reward commit to GitHub. From there, his career advanced rapidly. Analysis. Good habits create positive dopamine loops, while bad ones create negative loops. Hack by replacing. Addicted to games? Replace with gamifying habits like Habitica app turning tasks into quests. In business, CEO applies atomic habits to team, like short morning meetings, leading to 30% productivity increase. You can apply to personal projects. At example, housewife Helen, wanting to learn cooking. Start small, simple recipes, gradually become family master chef. And about failure, see as experiment, not failure. Adjust, repeat. As our journey gradually closes, let's pause a bit to reflect deeply. Atomic habits, small like grains of sand in the desert, are the foundation building an immense empire of success. From making cues obvious to not miss, igniting craving to be eager, reducing friction for easy action, to reinforcing with satisfying rewards, all create a powerful system, helping you not only achieve temporary goals but become the best, brightest version of yourself. And remember, eliminate bad habits by inverting. Make them invisible to forget, unattractive to hate, difficult to avoid, unsatisfying to regret. With supporting environment like a companion, new identity like armor, and persistent perseverance like an unending river, you can change anything in life, from health to career, from relationships to inner happiness. Now, I ask you sincerely, which habit will you start building today, right now? A small action, maybe just 2 minutes, but can change your life's trajectory forever. Experiment, persevere, and watch the miracle happen. Life isn't about grand shining moments, but about daily choices, accumulating atomic grains. Are you ready? Start, and let those grains explode into a new universe, full of possibilities. Remember, change doesn't come from magic, but from habits, and habits are in your hands.